Hi everyone, welcome to the Python on Android session of this Python GUI Apps Conference 2023. Here we are presenting this session together, my brother Lucas and I. Hey bro, introduce yourself.
Hey, bro. Actually, I'm a developer of the Embarcadero's Python ecosystem, and the person in charge to take Delphi's strength to Python and Python's flexibility to Delphi.
Yeah, so I'm Priyatham and I have joined more than a year ago in this in this journey with Lucas to bring this Python packages together to the to Delphi frameworks to the Python. So for the Python developers who don't know of Delphi, it's a dialect of Object Pascal programming language. Delphi has done very well in creating GUI apps from its inception. We are like super excited to walk down this road of marrying both Python and Delphi programming languages. It's similar to the age-old marriage of Python and C or C++. So it's only possible because of the flexibility that Python has. We can watch on that for watch on Python for that. Delphi and Python are more than 2 decades old and are very mature. Python is often termed as a Swiss Army knife, where you can achieve almost any software implementation using the third-party Python packages and libraries. Python was originally not designed to be suitable for Android development, Android or even mobile devices, because right then there is no, Android devices at all, if you see. But afterwards, the Delphi language has developed a built-in support for cross-platform, including the Android. So we want to use this Delphi Python marriage and implement the whole Delphi in Python. So we thought, why not explore the possibility of the Android application support that Delphi has to use in Python. So, and guess what? We became successful in our attempt, and we are here demonstrating that in this session. So now let's go ahead and first of all, explore the question of the session: why Python on Android? The major and foremost reason is that it is possible, as I said before. So the next reason is that to bridge the gap and remove the barrier for Python developers to enter the Android development arena. As it's a bit easy to learn and write code in Python, there is no need to learn the syntax-heavy languages like Java and Kotlin specifically for Android development. Like, it is becoming famous that bringing all the other, frameworks and frameworks in other languages to Python so that you can achieve almost anything using the Python itself. In a similar way, you don't need to actually write the Java and Kotlin codes to develop the Android applications, which might become a trend in future, which we wanted to explore that possibility. So what do you say, bro? Is that what we are aiming for, right?
Yeah.
Things.
Yes, indeed.
So getting that flexibility. So Android application development majorly involves the designing and implementing GUIs for applications. We want to bring that mature GUI frameworks of Delphi to Python using this Python for Delphi, bridge, which we call it, which Lucas can speak some words about it. Hey, bro.
Yeah, actually, the Python for Delphi is the library that turns out the Delphi and Python communication possible.
Yeah.
It's kind of the P40 creates the channel to bind Python and Delphi types and then have this interaction between them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So and one of the major thing is that this it is cross-platform. So we can actually write one code, one and same code can be used to run on all the other operating system platforms like Windows and Linux, macOS, and Android too. So that's what. And after that, if you see the Python for Delphi itself, it is like, as you said, it's a bidirectional bridge, and Python has an extensive third-party packages like as I said, similar to Swiss or knife. Right? We want to bring that ocean of utilities in Python to Delphi. It is actually the main intention behind developing this Python for Delphi is to get this scripting capability of Python into the Delphi. So and with that, it is also bringing this all the ocean of Python packages also to the Delphi. So and then our focus over here in this specific thing is to get this Delphi GUI frameworks, which it has a rich GUI frameworks, VCL and FMX, to the Python community. The other side of the bridge, we are exploring that possibility. And then that is possible only because Python for Delphi made it possible to create extension modules to be used in Python packages to be used as a Python package, like it's a C or C++ extension modules will be created and used in the Python. In a similar way, we are doing it for the Delphi. And our future plans include we want to become an alternative to the C and C++ to create these extension modules as it's possible. Let's see how the future holds for that. And now we want to show how Delphi and Python technology stacks interact with each other. Like Delphi has a free and commercial licenses, whereas the Python is free to use. So we are taking this commercially licensed Delphi to free to use Python and embedding the free to use Python in Delphi. So you can observe this slide showing the P4D bridge plays out from a top level view, where in the interaction, how it happens and all. And now let's get our feet wet with the DelphiFMX Python package itself, which we shall use to develop and launch our Android applications. So you can see that here the DelphiFMX is actually a wrapper around the FMX using the Python for Delphi, the P4D. So the P4D plus FMX turns out to combine to become the DelphiFMX Python package. So DelphiFMX provides an enormous amount of components to build any type of GUI applications of your choice. Each FMX component will be wrapped in Delphi and made available to the Python package. Like most of the existing components of FMX are already, they are wrapped and ready to be used as part of the application development using the DelphiFMX Python package. Any remaining shall be wrapped as the community, and we keep identifying them. Like recently when I'm creating this music player application, I identified that T-trap transition is a tab which we can use to make a smooth transition from one tab to another tab, which have not wrapped yet. So something like that, when we keep on identifying some of the components missing, and when community keep on identifying for some functionality missing, then we see whether there's a component already existing and which is not wrapped yet. So then we will keep on wrapping as we keep on identifying them. So the most important and advantageous thing about DelphiFMX is that the same code can be used to create GUI applications across all major operating systems, as I said, right? So like it includes maybe the design aspect might change from the operating system, from mobile devices to the desktop devices, but the logic turns out to be the same for all of that events handling and everything. So let's look after this small, like a simplest example we can use to create a simple application in Android, like a hello world application we call it, because generally introducing programming is used to be done using the hello world, right? So it's like printing hello world onto the console. In a similar way, we want to bring that similar hello world based example for our DelphiFMX here. So yeah, Seibo, what you're saying?
Yeah, actually, it's worth mentioning that maybe to show them the docs, bro, the API docs, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think, yeah, if you see the label and everything here, all of that components are wrapped, and you can check out our recently, we released this documentation for our DelphiFMX Python package and even for the Delphi VCL. So you can just check out what are all the types that we have wrapped here. And for example, if you see the label itself that we are using here, right? The label component and the form itself, all of them are available here for you. And just you can go ahead and see that class methods and the attributes and what you can, for example, if you see the labels having a set props and it has a text attribute or it has a parent attribute, all of that attributes you can check out here and what they do, and you can get them and work them for you. So that's part of the documentation which we wanted to say you that, so that you can utilize that for your use case and build your applications of your choice. That's what. And for this example is concerned, we are just importing everything from Delphi here. Or you can just import just a label component if you want to, or if you know what are the components that you need for your application, but we are just importing everything. And here we need to actually initialize the application if we were developing for the desktop based platforms. But for the Android, we just instantiate the form, and then we just create and configure the label, where the label's owner is the form itself, and its parent as far as the drawing, as far as the visual aspect is concerned, the main form itself, and the text that we want this label to contain, which is what you can see here, right? And the position where it should be placed, this origin of this, which can be this is the origin of the application itself, and the label's origin will be with respect to that 00. What is this? Like, so 50 from left and 50 from the top. So that's what this position will be, and the width of that specific label itself. So that's what we are creating, configuring this label component using and setting its properties, and we are just showing that main form, whatever we have created, instantiated, and you can just use the Python FMX builder that we are providing as an offering to launch this Android applications for your flexibility, which we will be showcasing in a short time. So now that's what, before going ahead, you can just download this Python GUI ebook bundle, where you can get all of the DelphiFMX and Delphi VCL based applications, examples, and their styles, and all in details, all the detailed example of what is this Delphi Python ecosystem all about, and how this came into existence, and everything about that details, and how to use the exporter to export the GUI design to the Python from the Delphi IDE, and all of that. So then afterwards, if you see, then we just want to make it an easy process to build, as I said, to debug and deploy the Android applications. We came up with this idea of the Python FMX builder, right? So Python FMX builder is an application to create and create a suitable Python environment for Android device. Because Android device itself is not configured, pre-configured to have this Python environment as part of it. It is having. We want to provide that Python-based environment using this tool. So it provides the utilities to build and launch Android applications for you with ease. And currently, the Python FMX Builder application is available on Windows platform, and we have plans to provide the installers for this Linux and macOS platforms in the near future. So because we are developing that with the FMX, which is anyway the cross-platform, as we said earlier. So when we build applications for mobile phone devices, a single extra step to take care is that the screen resolution when compared to the big screens devices, as I said, right? But as far as the logic is concerned, you can utilize the same logic in other platforms too. Only the design needs to be taken care of. So the most exciting thing we want to share is that we support the debugging of the Android applications from the FMX builder application on your computer. As you connect it with your mobile devices, Android device, we can actually debug your application, which is what we didn't have in any of the other offerings for doing this Android application development. Like the Kiwi is one of the other options that we have. So to build the Android applications using the Python, but using this design aspect that we have, which we will be exploring, you can make this process of creating these Android applications very easily. So we have a PyScripter IDE actually, which we want to we have planned to actually include this whole FMX builder as part of the PyScripter IDE. But we are also providing this. We are also thinking in mind that we want to actually explore this Python FMX builder as the mainstream team to be running these Android applications and all. Let's see what the future holds. You can download the latest release using this link, and then the Delphi for Python exporter. This is one of the important offerings from us. Like the it is if you, as part of the Delphi IDE, we need this Delphi for Python exporter tool to actually export the Delphi IDE designed GUI applications to be exported to the Python, the design code completely. So you can get it from the Get It package manager, which I will be explaining shortly in a sample application. And for it brings up this advantages for both Python developers and Delphi developers. You can make use of the Delphi for Python developers, the Delphi's flagship UI design capability, as I told you that the WYSIWYG designer is available, right? So you can save time in writing the design code in Python, which is like if you want to use the tkinter or the kiwi itself, you need to write that design code by yourself as part of the code, but we want to decrease that time, because to create some applications at scale, a bigger applications with multiple windows, and then you need to, if you need to write that whole through by your hand, it becomes very tiresome process. So and also we want to include styles. You will like the capability of including styles in Delphi to bring it to the Python, which we will be showcasing that too in the application. And you can use the feature for linking event methods also, like for example, if any button is there on the device, on the application, when you click that, what event should happen, so that event, an empty event can be created and utilized that to create the logic as part of the Python. So that is what we want to explore, and that's why you can use that approach to scale your large scale Python GUI applications. And for Delphi developers, it's like you can bring that your Delphi skills of designing GUI applications nicely and offer your application to the Python community, which is actually very large. The Python community is huge, so instead of restricting your open source code of your Delphi application limited to the Delphi developers, you can bring out that to the Python community. So that's what. And we too have this. We are thinking that including this designer, WYSIWYG GUI designer, as part of the PyScript IDE. But let's see how it happens in future. And yeah, we have this demo to showcase this design export of the tip calculator application that we have built, like how a tip will be calculated as per the group going for eating the food, and the percentage of tip you want to give, and the total bill amount. You can just have, and you can have the styles here. This is the application that we have. You can use this tool, this Delphi for Python export, as we said here, to export the design code to the Python, which we will be showcasing that tip calculator application logic implementation in this demo. Thank you. Yeah, now let's discuss about the FMX builder and the tip, Hello World application and the tip calculator applications using the FMX builder to launch on Android mobile device. So the FMX builder has the minimalistic full features to build Python applications for Android. Let's open FMX builder, but before opening it, where to get that? You just can go to the Python FMX builder repo of Embarcadero's repo and just go to the releases, and you can get the latest release, which is 0.8.1, and then get this TMS version, and also without TMS version. TMS version supports the debugging also. We provide debugging support, but without TMS, we don't have the debugging support. So I have downloaded both of them and then extracted them. Let me just open the TMS version and open the FMX builder application. So as you can see here, FMX builder is open up here. Now let's create a new project. For example, a Hello World application, right? And we try to check this option here. The default main script file will be created for you. We have shipped that Hello World application's code as a default script file, which we have seen as an example in our slides, right? So now the new project will be created, and you can see here a Hello World, and it's a main.py with a default script file here. Let's run the Hello World application on Android device. So, but before managing your project, the first time you load the FMX builder, you need to set up the environment settings here. For example, over here, this is the environment settings button where you need to set up the Android SDK settings and Java JDK settings. I have it all set here, but it will be empty for you at the first time. Let's say if you just remove all of that settings, it will be like this for you. And I have got here the path for the Android SDK base path. I can just copy it here and paste it here and just enter the tab, and you have everything, every other, the edit boxes will get filled automatically using this base path. And similarly for the JDK, Java JDK base path, if I just paste it here and this tab, enter tab, and this both will be automatically filled up, and you can save it here. You can see all of this, how to set up that Android SDK and how to download Android SDK and everything in the wiki page of the Python FMX builder, like Android SDK, and you can have a step-by-step guide for building your Android application, first Android application. You can install and set up the Android SDK and Java JDK also. Then using this way, you will have the environment. Once we have the SDK settings done, like we can now attach and select the Android device via the USB cable and set up the Android device. Like I have already attached my device to the computer, and let me just show my device to you guys. Yeah, so this is the Android device that I have connected already. And if you see, first of all, before going ahead, you need to listing it over here in our list of devices, attached devices. You need to first of all go and activate your USB debugging. For that, you need to first of all go to your about phone and click on the build number multiple times, maybe around 7 times, to activate the developer settings. And as you can see here, this operation is not required as you are already a developer. I have done that already. And if you just go back, then you can just search for USB debugging here in your settings, so that USB debugging, right? As you can see here, I have already set the USB debugging here, right? If you see here, this option, right? Okay, if I just reset again and open up, I just switched off the USB debugging, so that is why it disconnected. And now if you see, the debugging is USB debugging is on now, right? Now we can actually load our here, reload here, so that your list of devices will be displayed. If you have another device connected to your computer with these options, you will have that also listed here. And you can select which device you want to actually deploy your Android application onto. And there you go. For with the we can refer to the ebook for more details about setting up and linking your device if you have any doubt, and the wiki pages as I mentioned. Now let's get back to the project and have an overview of all the project settings available to you. You can see this, as this is the environment settings, this is the project settings, update project settings. And there you go, this application name. We have created the project with the name of Hello World. So it will automatically set the application name and the package name for you. You can edit this application name and package name. Make sure that the package name and application name should match, to avoid any conflict. In our Hello World project, we have only a single Python script, so it will be automatically set as a, this main.py file which we have, it will be automatically set as a main file. If you have multiple files, then you can actually select which is your main file. Then we can set the Python version, and we have support for all of these versions, and you can select which version you want your application to run on top of. Then also you also have option to set up the splash screen and application icons, all of that options here. let it empty to keep the defaults for now, and let's save it and edit the main script file. So the main script file, we have the default one here, right? So there's nothing changes needed as per se, because we have shipped with the supported code, hello world application. We are good to go. Deploy, we can now deploy and run the application on Android device. Now you can see launch, you can see the launching on Android application after I press on is one of these buttons. But we can, let me go ahead and say what are the three options which we are available, which are available over here. Build project actually will build it, and deploy project, build project will actually create that APK file, and so that you can actually take that APK file and share in between your groups to for others to actually evaluate your Android application. This deploy project will actually deploy that APK Android application on your Android device, whichever you have selected, but it will not run it. But this one is like, it will build and deploy and also run your application on your Android device at the same time. So let's just click on this, and you can see the messages running over here. And let's go ahead and open our mobile device here, so that as this the build process is done, and it will deploy onto our Android device, and it will run it. You can see this applications is about to start on our Android device. There you go, the Hello World application, which is just a text or the label displayed on top of the screen here. Hello Python from DelphiFMX. All right, now let's go ahead and run our tip calculator demo that we wanted to showcase on Android device, right? Let's before that, as I said, you might want to download the ebook bundle, in which we have provided this tip calculator application for you to run yourself as a demo. For that, I have it opened already here, the ebook bundle. After we download and extract it, it will be like this, and you have this ebook PDF file, using which you can get the instructions of what to do and what not to do and how to do it. This is what the ebook itself, and it has all the table of content for you to see everything, like Delphi for Python exporter, what it is, and the Python FMX builder itself, right? So you can see all the index over here, and then now along with this ebook PDF, you got these other files, right? So in that, you can go to the Delphi and the tip calculator Delphi, and open up the .d project, .d project, which is a Delphi project file. As you install, like as you open up that, the RAD Studio will get opened up, which is the Delphi IDE. And after opening that, you need to install the Delphi for Python exporter, which I have detailed about that process in the UI UX session and the music player session also. In this, we will be directly utilizing that Delphi for Python exporter to export the Delphi's WYSIWYG GUI design to the Python directly. So then let it get opened. Yeah. You'll be able to see here the Delphi for Python exporter, is installed, registered, right? Which will be coming to you after you install that for yourself. And there you go, gets opened up. There it is. Now let's look after this close this welcome page, and you can see this tip calculator project which we have opened here. And now as you install the Delphi for Python exporter, which as I said to you, you will get to see this export to Python option here. Here we have two types of exporting, as you can see. You have the UI, all the UI components here used to design the tip calculator application. Also, we have the event methods associated to specific events. Let's say here, for example, when you just have this spin box, you have the event of on change, right? All of them are mentioned here in the code, the event methods, the empty event methods. We have provided like as I said that using the Delphi design exporter, we can generate Python scripts to create GUI apps, right? But with empty methods, even without any logic, you can use these two options, and we have provided. Let's just select one, and when you just select the folder for that application directory and give a title, and then press the export, you will get it got exported, right? So that exports we have already provided for you in the ebook content, which is what you can see here in the Delphi for Python exporter folder, where it is the tip calculator Python, and you have that two options which I mentioned here, right? The exporting using the entire current project option or the selected forms option, which we have both. And then as you open, you have this empty design code, design logic without any application logic, the design code based exports here, and then the modified codes where we can actually where the logic is added here. They are available in the modified folders. Let's see what we have implemented here in the before going to the modified. Let's open up these two files and check out let's see over here, and in the PyScripter IDE, let us open them. All right. So the tip calculator.py is the main file, and the tip main file is where we have all the design code and also the associated the components defining and associated event methods, all of that. And we just importing this .pyfmx design form, which is over here. You can see all the design based, logic design based information over here in this PyFMX file. And then over here you can see these are all empty methods, right? And then when you just go to this modified Python export and go to this tip calculator tip main code, they are all changed to some logic implementation. Here we have like the calc per person share, right? Where and calc bill plus tip, we have this right here. And our like also even that gets fired when we change any of those field values, look, of field values above. The calc per person share will calculate and display the per person share value over here. Let me show that to you. Per person share value over here, right? And the calc bill plus tip will calculate the display and bill plus tip value here, the grand total, as we have from this event method. So that's what like you can refer to the ebook for a detailed and clear-cut understanding of all the functionality that you can see here, the logic explanation and details. Let's run it now for deploying it to the Android device using the Python FMX filter. Right, so let's create a new project called tip calculator. Without any main file, default main file. Okay, it's already exists, right? So because I have created it already, and if it's not created, then you can just you'll be able to create that. So then opening the existing project, which is the tip calculator itself, and select, and there you go with these files I have already added from this modified Python export folder over here. You can add them by just right clicking here and add file, and you can be able to add whatever the files from your downloaded ebook bundle from that specific folder which I've mentioned, where you have the updated logic here, right? Not the empty ones, so that you can actually understand, you can actually see that application running with the logic. And then now what you can just do is to run here. Now there you go, the application is about to open in our phone. There you go, the application got open up, right? So then we have the style changes where all that events getting fired, and we can change this to some other values. Say it's 300, let's say. Then immediately you can see, as I click OK, you can see that value per person share checks and grand total gets changed automatically. And if I just change the, number of people per person share gets decreased, and if I decrease per person share increases, right? So that's how this complete tip calculate application functionality, as you can see. Now let's explore what I would say is the most exciting feature of the FMX Builder, which is the built-in debugger implementation. It has many features of the modern day debuggers of the popular IDEs. Let's try a breakpoint. Let us say here somewhere calculate base per step, and then you can use the debug project button over here. The FMX builder is entering the debug mode at this point, where all the windows necessary to debug your application will be displayed over here. The application is not launching. It's in the debug mode over here. Say if you just you can see these options of debugging buttons over here in the FMX builder. Like it will let us say if we just step in, you can see the all debugging windows displayed here. We can use the step in button to get and go to the next step. Like it's similar to all the debugger implementations. Like we use the debug py from the Microsoft in this, which is the same debugger which is used in the Microsoft Visual Studio Code editor. So then now like this, and you can just step out of that and get into this main form.show, where it is the main form, the window that application will get showed in the Android device. All right, so you can see that application now got opened up on the device. After all, after this whole debug process is finished, you can just stop the debugging process, and this window, this mode will come back to the default mode from the debug mode. That's it. So once we are like you are now kind of, once you're done with this process, you are now ready to create your Android applications using DelphiFMX Python for Python and this package. Your imagination is only the limit now for you to do whatever you want with this package and create some great Android applications.
Yeah, nice sample, bro.
Yeah, it's a nice sample that we have, and and we are recently coming up with a new sample to actually showcase this capability with the music player that recently I have built, where we want to bring that, we want to develop that main like a big application, a good application using this DelphiFMX. And thank you all for watching. What do you say, bro? That's a wrap.
Yeah, thank you guys, and see you again.
Hey, yeah, see you again. And we will be coming up with the new updates time to time, and we'll be connecting to you guys again and again. Hey, bring up the questions.
I love it. He says that every time at the end of the video. Hey, Ian, bring up the questions. Okay, well, there was a lot of discussion going on behind the scenes when that video was on between Lucas and Priyatham and Martha and myself. And the good news is both Lucas and Priyatham are live for the Q&A, which is good because we've got a lot of questions about various topics. So hello, Lucas, and hello, Priyatham. We're going to make you live any second now. Oh, see, I've confused Martha now by having... Oh, Priyatham's going to join only by voice. Is that right, Priyatham?
Yeah, I'm joined by only audio.
That's fine, yes. Yeah, it's probably in some kind of bar lying on the floor or something.
Exactly.
I'm joking.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, hi, Lucas. I think we've probably been on some videos before, right? I don't think we've actually spoken one-to-one before. So, yeah. Okay. So you can hear me okay, right?
Actually, connection is breaking down, Ian.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, I can hear, bro.
Okay,
it's clear now. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So, yeah, it's headsets for you. Okay, so great presentation. Lots and lots of questions about things, and some of them we've answered. And we have these QR codes that we can show in the top up there. And if you scan those with your phone, you'll get a free book, an ebook, which actually covers quite a lot of the things that were shown both in Priyatham's video and in the video with Lucas and Priyatham. I think only one person commented, but I know a few people were already thinking, hey, some bits of Priyatham's video was speeded up. Yes, there's a little bit of an error there, and in the replay, we will slow it down. I think it's just one of those things where there's a lot going on and you're trying to...
Actually, the point is that we have the time limit of 1 hour, and the music player session has gone way too much. It's
exactly.
Kind of 1 hour, 20 minutes and so I just have a little speeded up for that, fitting into the session.
Yeah, that's exactly. I knew exactly what happened, and it's not a problem. For the replay, we'll actually slow that down a bit because some of the people were saying, oh, it's a bit tricky to understand if they're not English speakers because it's fast, and I know I talk fast, and I know that confuses some people as well. So, okay, so how long have we got? Let's see what the time is. Oh, we've got a good 15 minutes
15,
or so. So
15 minutes, yeah.
Okay, so let's just talk about some of these questions that I've starred here. Let's have a look. Okay, can you, is there any solution for this? Okay, so one person was saying, what was the IDE that we were showing? And they were asking about whether it was, let's just have a look at what that is. Visual Studio, PyCharm, or Jupyter, and whether you could use DelphiFMX and Delphi VCL in those IDEs. The IDE that was being shown was PyScripter, and I can actually get that little QR code come up there, but also RAD Studio, which will also put but we can only put one code at a time up, so I'll leave this for a while to let you scan it. Guys, if I ask you, I don't know whether you want to answer this question, Lucas, and we'll come to Priyatham with another question, but can DelphiFMX and Delphi VCL be used with other IDEs other than, I mean, can you just use it in Python? That was the question they were really asking.
Yeah, sure, actually. We can easily use the DelphiFMX and the VCL one in other IDEs. But I believe that PyScripter has stubs available, right, bro? For code completion and things like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
maybe it won't be available in other IDs because it's not
Yet
fully implemented yet, right? Yeah,
we
as
just
far
need
as we
to get
have
that
actually
stuff.
released it, yeah, we have released the docs integration and other things too. So maybe we can have code completion in many of these IDs, right? But regarding Android itself, I believe it's not available for other IDs instead of the builder, the FMX builder, right? Because it has a lot of, you know, dependencies and things like that.
Yeah, and actually that led into that question I'm just showing there, which is how you convert it to Android. Well, you showed that in the presentation. That question was asked just before that. For iOS, I understand it's not happening at the moment because there's technicalities to do with Apple, if I understand that correctly.
Yeah, I think Jim was looking into that actually earlier about the iOS stuff where there are some license issues. But
Right.
I think we can figure that out because as I see there are
Well,
other
let's not make a
packages.
promise.
Yeah, means
We want
in
to,
the sense,
but we can't.
yeah, we want to. That's what
Yeah.
means we want to do that, but we need to figure that out actually.
Yeah.
How to fit into that our criteria.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it will work actually, right? We
Yeah,
can compile it for
as far
iOS,
as the
but
app itself, it will work. But only the thing is
yeah,
this license concerns.
Right.
yeah,
So more work required is I think what we're saying
Yeah,
is that obviously ideally we would like it to work on iOS. Right now it is Android only, and there are possibilities that you could get it to go on iOS, but that is a goal at some point. But as with all these things, we can't, as a company, Embarcadero can't promise that can happen. Because otherwise we get all sorts of lawyers and
we
things like
mean
that.
we mean as
You
well.
promised.
We mean as far as the application itself is concerned, it can compile into iOS app, actually. It
Right.
can run, but the point is that to get that application, onto the App Store is what the concern where we don't have that permissions yet.
Yeah, and that is an Apple restriction. That is not something that we're restricting. It is to do with Apple's licensing policies, and actually it affects also. At one point, they used to allow all sorts of things to go onto the Apple Store, and then they suddenly said no, nothing unless it's native code, completely native, 100%. Then you can't do it, and then they had to backtrack after I think a lot of large people with very deep pockets complained. So, okay. And someone else said this question, which confused me a little. They said this is not free. Actually, no, you're wrong. It is free. It's
it
completely
is.
free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all in the GitHub.
Yeah,
yeah,
everything Python related here, the whole Python ecosystem is free actually, right?
yeah.
When you want to use the export itself using the RAD Studio, you can use the C version, right? So everything is free.
Yeah, and that's the C version of Rad Studio. There's the QR code up there. I think when they said this is not free, they may have just gone to look at Rad Studio and gone, oh, it's a commercial product, which it is. But if you qualify for the community edition license, which a lot of the people that are watching this stream either live or on the replay, you may well qualify. The community edition really is what we're looking for is for you not to be running a multi-million-dollar company with 15 developers sitting in the background, all using the community edition. It's not appropriate, and also, we have people to pay. I have to be paid, and we have to pay the bills and the taxes and all the other things, and keep the lights on. So, there is a commercial version of the product that eventually, if you go over this threshold of qualification for the free version, the community version of Rad Studio, then you will need to pay for a license. But if you are below these thresholds, this amount of earnings you can make, or your size, your hobbyist and all these kind of things, you can go to that link, scan that link with your phone, go and download the community edition of Rad Studio, and that is completely free as well. There are a couple of restrictions, but it is completely free, and you can use it with the DelphiFMX, Delphi VCL, and all the other things that we've been showing you throughout this conference. So that, you know, so when he says this is not, or he or she, I'm going to guess it's a he, when he says it's not free, you're wrong. It is free. So boo-hoo to you. And
And
you know,
as far as Python packages itself is concerned, even the all code is free. Code is also open source too. You know.
yeah, so it couldn't be more free. You know, it's, I mean, we can make it more free by paying you to download it, but you know.
Yeah. And you have Python styles for free too.
Yeah, so you know, yes, it is free. If we gave you the impression, Yezra, that it wasn't free, I apologize, but we did try and make it clear. And sometimes there's a language barrier as well. I understand that. So Yezra, it's free. The other question was, is that Takinta when they were showing the app? No, it wasn't. Do you want to, one of you two want to explain what the packages were, just in case people didn't catch what we were talking about? I'll say,
as far as
Lucas.
Tkinter is concerned.
Come again.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll explain, and probably easier. The package that you're actually being shown was DelphiFMX. Again, there's this, the little thing up there, and also Delphi VCL, and the packages. What they do is they are similar to Tkinter, except Tkinter's built into Python, except they go a little beyond that. One of the biggest strengths of DelphiFMX, for example, is the themes that you saw. Priyatham in the video showed that you could click on a button and it would change the whole look and feel of the app instantly like that. And that's using Delphi styles, and which are also free. And those are professionally produced, professionally designed styles for your application. So it looks like you've employed a graphic designer and paid them hundreds of pounds or dollars or whatever your currency is. And in fact, it's free.
You see the Tkinter itself. If you see the Tkinter itself is something built using the TCL. You know, it's a TCL programming language, and the Guido van Rossum actually earlier, when he took that TCL implemented Tkinter and embedded into the Python as native, de facto Python GUI library. So it's like right from its initial history itself, as far as the GUI itself is concerned, GUI package itself is concerned, nothing is actually native to Python. It's all from the other languages and got into the Python. So if you see the Qt5 packages, it is actually from the C++. So if you see anything that is actually GUI based implementation in Python, it is actually from the other language, is wrapped into the Python. Even the de facto version of de facto GUI package for the Python, the Tkinter itself. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's a good point. And Python, as we've said several times in this conference, Python has got some really good points about it. It's massively popular. It's very, very easy to use. It for things like machine learning, AI, large data handling and stuff like that. It is actually, there's nothing to touch it. It's absolutely incredible. The downsides are many Python GUIs look like they were designed in the 1970s to work on a mainframe computer. And also some sections of Python applications, there's some things you can do, particularly loops and things like that, can go very slowly. And as we saw in Kyriakos's session, the first session of the day, you can use Python for Delphi to inject modules into your Python code, and it makes your Python apps fly, as Kyriakos showed, 100 times faster than just Python alone. So if you combine DelphiFMX or Delphi VCL and Python for Delphi, P4D, all of these things together, you've got the best of
RTL itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got incredible benefits, and which is really part of what this conference is all about, is using we don't see Python and Delphi being in competition. We don't. Our main core product is obviously Rad Studio. By we, I'm talking on behalf of Embarcadero, who sponsor this conference. But we do see many parallels and benefits from both sides. The benefits of the strengths of Python, combining them with the strengths of Delphi, and putting those together to make something that's even stronger together. And the same with the DelphiFMX libraries. You can make your apps look incredibly good, and you can get them on Android, and you can use the free libraries from these two guys, Lucas, and you're in the ether, Priyatham. So out in the spirit world where you live now, these two guys and Kyriakos as well work very, very hard. I just turn up, talk a lot. So. But okay, so we've got a few minutes left. Is there anything that you sort of felt you didn't make a point of in the video, or is there anything you want to particularly bring up? I'll go with you, Lucas, first.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I believe that I don't have much to say. Maybe Priyatham.
Lucas is a person who does the stuff, does not speak the stuff.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Well, he's the supermodel face. That's what it is, right? Strong and silent type. I get that. Yeah. He's the brain.
Yeah. The point is actually, as far as the FMX builder itself is concerned, we were thinking to get so much improvements into the FMX builder itself, because we need to speak on that more. We need to discuss about that ideas yet. It might not be good to make them public at present, but make so many improvements to the FMX builder itself, and bring so many Android-based Python packages we wanted to bring. For example, at present, you can use only the Python's standard libraries only as part of the Android Python packages, Android Python GUI applications. But for them to actually have a very nice Android applications, we need to have the third-party packages support of the Python to the Android. So we want to make such process very easy using the FMX builder for Python, and also maybe bring the capability of even designing the apps if possible in future. It's all need to be actually have a good thought about it, and something like you get a kind of for anything to do with GUI. You can rely on the FMX builder.
Sure.
Is what a goal behind that kind of, let's see how that goes and winds up.
Well, I think the two of you work very, very hard on this project. I know that from what I do behind the scenes on some of the editing and some of the other DevRel stuff I do. And I really appreciate both of you taking the time to come on. I know it's not easy. Lucas, you're in Brazil, I think, and Priyatham, I'm not quite sure where you are right now, but because you're in the spirit world. So you've come back to us through a Ouija board, I think.
I'm from India, from Hyderabad.
Hyderabad, yeah. I should know that. I remember that, yeah. So, and we're a global organisation, so poor Martha is she's in a very odd time zone as well. I know it's probably late for one or both of you, but I really appreciate the effort you coming in and taking the time to talk to us. We really believe in this project, which is why Embarcadero helped sponsor it and help promote it as well. So, for all your hard work, here's me publicly saying thanks very much.